So many network marketers fall in love with a health and wellness product, and then they realize that there's an incredible opportunity to build the lifestyle and income of their dreams. But what happens when you get started and you run out of friends and family to talk to, and what you're doing on social media just isn't quite getting you where you want to be? Well, the truth is, it's probably not your fault. It just takes a little marketing know-how that you may not be getting from anywhere else. So on this podcast, I'm sharing with you the secrets that I've been able to learn from all of my top earner friends and mentors. I'm pulling back the curtain on exactly what it takes to get people excited about the wellness products that you have to offer, to help people improve their lives, and to get you to the rank that you want to be at. My name is Soraya Goddard, and this is Secrets to Marketing Your Wellness MLM. Hey guys, if you've been watching me on Instagram lately, I asked, I guess it was a couple days ago, I asked you guys who really feels like they are working way too much. And what I mean by that is you have a goal, you know you are building your network marketing business, no matter what state you're at, no matter if you just started or you've been doing this a while, but you are just working yourself to death. And that can be really frustrating for a whole host of reasons, but primarily because a lot of us get into network marketing with the idea of freedom in our heads. We want time freedom, we want location freedom, we want the ability to do what we want when we want to be able to, dictate our own schedule. And many people are either working to get out of a job that gives them a dictated schedule. And so the idea of then adding another thing on top of that, or if you're already full-time in network marketing, or I shouldn't say already because that's not everybody's goal, but if you are full-time in network marketing, the idea of just working your face off all the time is not necessarily appealing. And there's a lot of health impacts that can come along with that. And so many of you guys said that you were working too much. Now, let me preface this. The majority of you guys said that you weren't actually working enough. And so I took a poll, very, very, very scientific Instagram poll, right? Double-blind Instagram poll. Just kidding, not at all. Super unscientific Instagram poll that just of my audience that said basically a third of you said you guys were working way too hard, and 2/3 of you felt like you were not working hard enough, if you're really being honest. And so I want to talk to the third of you guys who feel like you are working your face off. However, if you're not in that category, I think this is really going to be helpful for you too, for a number of reasons. Number one, you're going to have a teammate at some point who will be in this scenario, okay? You might already have a teammate who's in this scenario. Number two, some of the mental mindset things that I'm going to cover here in just a second are applicable to everybody. But for you guys who feel like you are working your face off, let me tell you a little bit about my story and my journey, how I even got into network marketing, and how I am a classic overworker. So I have been taught since I was little that more effort is better. More effort is better. And that if you work hard and you dedicate yourself and you're the longest working and the hardest working person, that you will be rewarded. And I hope if you're in network marketing and you've done any kind of personal development that you have figured out, or at least heard someone say that that is not the case. Because trust me, it is not the case. Work does not equal effort. And I'll circle back to that in just a moment. But back to my story, I had that ingrained in me. And I don't think I learned that from people who meant harm. I think that is part of our American culture. And if you're listening to this outside of America, if you're at all in the Western world, you can probably relate to this, that is a part of our culture where the harder you work, the more, it's like this weird martyrdom syndrome. I don't know, but I bought into that hook, line, and sinker. And then on top of that, I chose a career, being in the Army, that rewards effort. It rewards effort. Now, don't get me wrong, it also rewards results. However, there was a culture for a long time in the Army, and it's getting a little bit better, that if you are the first to be there and the last out and you're working your face off and you're tripling, the work of everybody else, that you are best. And so for a long time, my goal was to be the best in my career. And so that meant that I was working 15, 16, 17, 18-hour days. And that is not an exaggeration. And so obviously you can't go forever doing that without some serious consequences. Ironically, it's me burning myself out and coming to total physical exhaustion to the point where I couldn't get off the couch at the end of the day. You guys have probably, well, some of you have heard me say this, but I had a whole host of symptoms that were just ruining everything in my life. I mean, it started with just like some minute stuff like acne. It started with elevated anxiety, although I didn't really understand what that was at the time. I just thought it was like being intense a lot. And then it kind of progressed into weight gain, and then it progressed into me just being so exhausted at the end of the day that, again, I couldn't get off the couch, but yet I also couldn't fall asleep. Now I know that that's called tired but wired, and it's a classic symptom of hormone issues due to stress and adrenal and thyroid problems typically, but all caused by stress and overworking and physical exhaustion. On and on and on and on, the symptoms kept coming. And I was so frustrated because I didn't really understand. And in retrospect, it's so clear to me that, of course, if you work like that for years on end, it's going to affect you physically. But at the time, I thought that I was doing the right thing by just working. And so ultimately, it all came to a head. It ended up impacting my personal relationships. It ended up, I lost confidence. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like I looked good. I didn't really know how to get out of it. It kept getting worse, and it started to mess with my head, and the anxiety rose, and it was a bad, bad time in my life. The funny part about that is I ended up actually going to a therapist. I ended up going to multiple physicians. Basically, all the physicians told me that I was totally fine and that I just needed to get more sleep, which was true. Certainly wasn't the only thing I needed to change, but I was like, how can I? I have to work this hard. And so what I ended up doing is going on this path to really figure out what was going on with myself. And I ended up at a naturopath, and that naturopath turned me on to a whole world of natural health and digging into hormone balance, and that eventually led me into my network marketing product. And so I don't really talk about my network marketing journey specifically in terms of my company and stuff on here, but that's what led me into network marketing. So I don't know, maybe it was all for a reason, and maybe that's what was supposed to happen to me. But even after I did tons of work to relax and to not work as hard, and I cut back on hours that I was working and was in therapy, like all sorts of stuff, right? I was doing everything right. Even after that, it was still so ingrained in me to work hard that I still was working crazy hours at work, but I was just keeping an eye on it. And, if you could see me, I'm kind of doing air quotes right now, managing it. And I go in spurts, really what that looked like, is I would go in spurts where I would work really hard and I go, oh, you're doing it too much, go back down. And so, although it was better, it still wasn't what I really should have been doing. And only, to be completely honest, in the last really 3 years, I guess, have I been able to figure out how to sustain a healthy work life. And I have had periods where I've had to ramp it up, but they have been very conscious periods. I've been either kind of at a peak where my career is going well, network marketing is going well, and I was renovating a house. I purposely took on things for a period of time, and I still had to closely manage that. And so why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you that it comes from a good place. If you find yourself working your face off with no end in sight, and you know that this can't be what you're working hard for, that there's something that you're missing, or that it doesn't feel right because you're not getting the results, then I really want you to know that, number one, you're not alone. And I also want you to know that you today have the tools to fix this. You have the tools to make a change. It is hard, but it is not too hard for you to do. And the typical reaction of someone who is in this mode is to make excuses. And if that's you, I'm calling you out on this. I'm giving you some love through this podcast that there are no excuses for it, and you've got to manage it for your sake, your health, your sanity, and for longevity, because that chronic stress is just not good for you. And it's not what we want, right? It's just not what we want. And working harder is not the solution. So let me share with you the foundation that we have to understand. We need to work on our mindsets. We need to unplug the programming, undo the programming that says that working harder equals more money. It does not. It does not. Because if it was true, then you would just work 80 hours and you would be, you'd work yourself to death and you'd be a millionaire, right? The harder you worked, the more money would come in. But it's just not the case, right? It's not the case. Have you ever looked at someone either in your company or in another company and it just seems so effortless and they're at the top of their compensation plan, right? That's not a mistake, okay? When you get into a place of ease, now I'm not saying that means that everything is easy, but when you realize that work and working harder does not equal more money, you can introduce ease into your life. You can introduce relaxation, true relaxation, not the relaxation where you look like you're not doing anything but your mind is racing. No, I mean like really being present. And that is the second thing that I want to talk about. Not only does more work not equal more money, but a lot of times the work that we are doing isn't actually helpful. It's just mind-numbing work, or it's something because we don't know what else to do. I fell into this for a while in the beginning of my network marketing career, and I will still sometimes fall back into it, and I have to catch myself that I love this job. I love this profession. I love my network marketing business. I love serving you guys so much that sometimes I get so excited and I will go down a rabbit hole of something and I'll realize, oh my God, this actually isn't helping me grow my business. I need to stop doing this. Now I can quickly spot that. But before I couldn't spot it. And I was like, oh, this one thing, it'll be the next great thing for me to grow my network marketing business. And it wasn't. So we need to be present. Now, what do I mean by that? When you are present, it means that you understand in the moment exactly what you're doing, right? You have clarity in your business. Let me help you a little bit with that. For those of you who don't quite understand what I'm talking about, it is important to understand what your income producing activities are. And I will tell you that there are basic income producing activities that are universal. And that is inviting people to watch a presentation of some sort, whether that be to come to a physical in-person meeting, to watch a presentation online, to have a conversation, to sample a product, whatever your company method is, there is a presentation of some sorts, an invitation of some sorts. So that is the number one income producing activity you want to be doing. Yes, this is a marketing podcast, so let's talk about marketing. The marketing things that you should be doing, if and only if you are inviting people, should be to create a piece of content. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, I don't care, some sort of social media content, blog, whatever your platform of choice is, to create a piece of content that is geared at starting conversations and having people reach out to you. The problem is that those of you who find yourself in this overwork cycle are usually working on things that are neither of those. They are neither invitations nor creating content. They're usually things, fill in the blank, whatever you're working on. It's, let me do a new website and let me reorganize my YouTube videos or like whatever. Like you're not going to become the top earner in your company by reorganizing your YouTube videos or whatever it is, going through course number 742 that you bought this year to get to the top. It really needs to be, let's get back to the foundation and let's get back into inviting, aka prospecting, and marketing, putting a piece of content out there with a call to action for someone to reach out to you, and then you having a conversation with them and then inviting them to watch the presentation. It's very, very simple, but I am super guilty in the past of distracting myself with, let me play around with the latest Instagram filter, or let me play around with the the webinar that I just saw someone advertise on the 7 secrets of blah, 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 blah. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure those things are great, but they're going to distract you from the real work. And so if you find yourself in a point where you are working and working and working and working and working, and you're just not getting anywhere, just be honest with yourself. You've really got to be honest with yourself. If you don't know what you're working on and you can't link that to actual results, then I would ask you to take an inventory. And I've recommended this many times before on this podcast. Take an inventory of how many people you've invited over the course of a week. That should be your number one metric. You should know exactly how many people you've reached out to, how many people have responded, how many people watched a video or came to your meeting or sampled your product or whatever it is that you do, and then how many people you converted into customers or business builders. Those should be your statistics. Those are your key performance indicators. And if you aren't tracking those, you should be tracking those as of right now. Right meow. So track those, put them in a notepad, make a journal, whatever you need to do, put them on your daily calendar, put it on the wall in your office. I don't really care what you do, but track it consistently. And you will see over time that you are probably not doing the things that you need to be doing. You're probably distracting yourself with quote unquote work because you are scared or you've got some hang up. Now let's talk about fear, okay? Because some of you are like, yes, that's it. I am doing other things because I am scared, whether I admit it or not, of actually reaching out to people. Look, I love marketing. I freaking love marketing. I'm obsessed with attraction marketing. I'm obsessed with people reaching out to me. But until you get to the point where you have so many leads coming in your way and so many people reaching out to you every single day to ask you if they can join your company, which I'm not there yet. Most of you are probably not there yet. You still have to prospect. And oh, by the way, I know many high 7-figure earners, multiple 7-figure earners. Guess what their foundation is? Prospecting. They are reaching out to everybody. They're prospecting where they're at. They're casually bringing things up to their Uber drivers and their grocery store clerks and their friends and their whatever, anyone that they come in contact with in a very casual way. But they're doing that consistently. And then they're also creating marketing material. They're creating a piece of content every single day, a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live, an IGTV episode, an Instagram post, Instagram stories, whatever it is, right? Whatever your thing is, your YouTube, your podcast, then pick one platform and go with it. But if you are scared to do that, then maybe you need to be asking the question, do you really want to do this? And I know, oh God, so I can hear some of you guys going, yes, I do want to do this, but I don't want to prospect. Yes, I do want to do this, but no, I don't want to talk to people. Well, those two have to happen. They have to happen. You have to talk with people if you want to be a networker, right? You have to talk to people to be in a networking profession. You have to do it. You have to do it. It's just a fact. Nobody likes to do it. Nobody likes to do it. I don't really enjoy prospecting. Nobody enjoys prospecting. But I have talked about this before too. If you believe in your product, if you believe in your business, if you believe that you have an opportunity that needs to be shared, you have an obligation to share that with people. And it's the way that your business is going to grow. So get over the fear by getting into action. That's really how you get over it. People are like, how do I get over it? You just do it. And eventually you build up the confidence that nobody hates you. People's responses have nothing to do with you. You get better at your wording. You get better at talking with people. You get more comfortable. And then you just adopt a ZFG, 0 F's given attitude, and you just do it anyway, and nobody cares. And then some of you might actually learn to enjoy it. But if you don't, that's okay too. In the meantime, you're creating that content and ideally building an audience, no matter how small it is. Even an audience of 100 people is important. That's 100 people to talk to. That's 100 people that might be reaching out to you, and you will be able to build a business that way. So that fear should not be crippling you. And that fear, a lot of times, is driving people to keep busy in nonsense that just isn't going to build their business. And so I would just ask you to really take a look at what you're doing. You could even go so far as to do a time audit and to really get honest with yourself. I've done this before and it's appalling. It's appalling. Do a time audit. Every single thing that you do to build your business, write down. It is, 10:25 and I am recording a podcast and I'm going to stop that podcast at 10:42. then I'm doing this, then I'm doing this, then I'm doing this. And no judgment, like don't modify what you're doing. Just write down what you're doing. And you will see over the course of a day, a week, a month, whatever it is, that you are distracting yourself by busy work instead of doing the income producing activities. I think that working as a distraction or working because we have, some of you guys, some of us, because this used to be me, are working to prove ourselves in some way. And I'm not a therapist, and I don't really feel qualified to talk about the ways that we try to prove ourselves. I just know that people try to prove lots of things to people that are, for the most part, usually not even in their lives anymore. If you have a partner that might be less than supportive or less than fully supportive, maybe you're working so that, you're like, I'm working, I'm doing something, this is going to happen. Again, I would offer that really focusing on just a few really important key tasks per day is going to be better. It's going to be better for your health. It's going to be better for your business. It's going to be better for your relationships. It's going to be better for your, work-life balance. It's going to be better for sleeping more. It's going to be better for everything. Maybe your kids or whatever it is. It's just going to be better for everybody. And so it will also probably make your less than supportive partner happier. So just some things that I have experienced, just some things that I've noticed in other people, teammates, cross-line friends in other companies. That trap of working your face off is just it's a trap. Now, you do have to work hard, but you don't have to work so hard that you feel like you're overworking. You've got to figure out where that line is. Again, I think that the logic and I think that it's just imperative that you log and figure out how many times you're reaching out to people, how many times you're creating content, and then the rest is kind of just the fluff, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of funnels and websites. I'm a fan of all that stuff. But I, at first, learned that as a substitute for actually doing the work. And it wasn't until I started doing the consistent work that I got the consistent results that I was looking for. So, all right, guys, I really hope that helped you. I know that there's probably a bunch of other reasons out there that, why people work or feel like they're working way too hard. But if nothing else, I think that this might have given you some food for thought. If you feel so inclined, another thing that you can do is to really just kind of journal on this. A lot of times we work because we have anxiety or frustration or something else. Maybe you're working too hard because you are running away from something else in some other part of your life. And so I have recently rekindled my love of journaling, my newly reborn love of journaling. And so maybe this is just something you should journal on. And that journal can be as simple as getting out a 3x5 card or a white sheet of paper or whatever it is, whatever you've got handy, just kind of writing down some thoughts at the end of the day. Like, how do I feel after working this hard? Does it fill me up? Do I feel accomplished? Do I feel sad? Do I feel empty? Do I feel like I've done something good? Do I feel like I've actually served people? Because remember, let's bring it all back to the point of why we're doing this. We're building our business through service and connection to others. We're connecting so that we can impact customers and potential business builders. And so how many people have you actually impacted today? That's another really great way to measure, are you doing the right things? How many people have you impacted today? I just came up with that. I really like that. How many people have you impacted today? How many conversations have you had? How many people have, really connected with you in a way where you've helped them with something? Because the more that you impact people, the more that your business will grow. So reflect on that. I really hope this helped you guys. As always, if you've listened to this podcast since the beginning, or if you're new here, I really, really value that you are spending your time to download this and listen to me, of all people. It's just so much fun to connect with you guys. I get DMs from you guys all the time. It is just amazing. So if you liked this podcast, or you think that other people need to hear it, or if you really know someone in particular who needs to hear it, feel free to private message this to them. But as usual, screenshot this and upload it into your Instagram stories and tag me. And I always reshare those. That is always such a joy to see. But more importantly, I need you guys to get on my mailing list. I need you guys to get on my mailing list fairly soon. Let me just say that because I've got some good stuff coming. I have heard your requests. I'm straight up teasing you right now. But go to sorayagoddard.com/podcast. That's SORAYAGODDARD. sorayagoddard.com. If you're listening to this in the car or on the treadmill or on a bicycle or wherever it is that you're on the go and you can't write that down, that's okay. My name is in the picture of this podcast. Super easy to find. Go to sorayagoddard.com/podcast. I think there's probably a link in the podcast too. And go download. I've got some free info for you guys. I've got 50 health and wellness topics for you that could be blog posts or any kind of attraction marketing posts, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. It says it's Facebook Live topics, but it could be any kind of social media topic that you need. So go grab that freebie and you will be on my mailing list and you will be the first ones to hear about all sorts of stuff that I have cooking up. So excited. All right, guys, have a great day. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed Secrets to Marketing Your Wellness MLM. Before you go though, I have something for you. If you are looking to grow your audience online via social media so that you can have people getting excited about your products and reaching out to you to learn more, then you need my cheat sheet that has 50 health and wellness Facebook Live topics that will attract an audience to you. It also walks you through the secret 4-part formula that you can follow on both Facebook and Instagram that is proven to have people reaching out to you. And when you get it, I am also sending you guys an audio file for those of you who love to listen to the information on the go. You can get both of those things at www.sorayagoddard.com/podcast. Again, that's sorayagoddard.com/podcast. SORAYAGODDARD.com/podcast. Thanks so much. Chat soon.